I think I have talked about Sum 41 on this podcast before, but if you're not familiar, they are a Canadian pop punk band. And I guess they started pop punk, but they I find them really interesting because they definitely, of all those 90s pop punk bands from America and Canada and stuff, they definitely deviated and moved more towards like melodic hardcore, not hardcore, but like heavier punk music than poppier, glistening, they made heavier music after their first kind of breakout pop punk album. Probably best known for their songs, both from their debut album All Killer No Filler, which is one of my favorite album titles of all time. Probably best known for their songs In Too Deep, and of course one of the best pop punk anthems of all time, Fat Lip, which was blended like this almost Beastie Boys-esque sort of rap rock style vocals between three members of the band, like riffing off each other in the verses. I actually will say that Sum 41 was the first band that I was really, truly obsessed with. Fell in love, probably around 12 or 13. And it actually all started because I heard the song In Too Deep in the movie Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve Martin. It's in a montage scene of that movie, and I was like, what is this song? This is the greatest song I've ever heard. And I mean, imagine being a 13-year-old kid and hearing this. You know, everything about that is just great commercial pop punk. And fell in love with them. And I remember it was back in the day of LimeWire and stuff, and I just typed in Sum 41 on LimeWire and just downloaded every song I could see. And it was before I really knew much about albums and like how the music industry worked and stuff. I just wanted to listen to songs I thought were cool, and I thought these guys were so cool, and I still think they are. And I think after seeing them live, I have seen them live before. 10 years ago, I saw Sum 41 live at Soundwave in Melbourne. But seeing them again, and I haven't listened to them for a while. Like, it's not that I like, it's just like, you know, I've grown out of a lot of the music I listened to as a kid. Even a lot of Blink-182, I love it and I listen to it for nostalgia, but the lyrics don't resonate as hard with me as they did when I was a teenager, right? As a teenager, particularly listening to, you know, music like Blink-182's self-titled album, which, you know, has some really great thematic content lyrically and stuff that really resonated with me as a teenager. It doesn't as much anymore because I'm much happier and much more secure now, but it's sort of when you're a teenager, you need that music, that angry kind of angsty music. And I think just growing up, Sum 41 just sort of went by the wayside. Every now and then I'll kind of get back into them, but seeing this show from them, and I know it was an Offspring headline show, and I reiterate that Offspring was amazing, but boy, oh boy, was Sum 41 fucking amazing. And every song they played, I was like, fuck, I remember being in year 8 and just being obsessed with this song. I remember being a kid and being absolutely obsessed, and literally every song that came on, and I still knew every single lyric to every single song they played, and it was just every song that started, I was like, fuck, I have not heard this in so long, and it's such a bloody good song. It was an amazing concert, and ever since then, all week I've just been re-listening to a bunch of their music. And the frontman, Derek Whibley, I actually think he's so underrated as a songwriter in the pop punk space. I just love them, and I think he's really good at, his singing is so powerful, and he has such a great vocal tone and such a great versatile voice, and the harmonies he puts into a lot of the songs is amazing. But I've been obsessed with one of their songs in particular, and the song is called Underclass Hero. It's from the album called Underclass Hero. It's the lead single of that album. And the title is a nod to John Lennon's classic song, Working Class Hero, which is a fantastic song that Green Day also covered and did a fantastic cover of. But yeah, Underclass Hero. And this album came out in 2007, which was when I was getting into this band for the first time. So these were a lot of the songs that were the top hits on LimeWire because they were new songs, so I downloaded all of them and heard them. Underclass Hero is great. I just think as a pop punk anthem, this is just one of the most phenomenal songs I've ever heard. Like, punk is traditionally all about anti-authority, anti-establishment. It's not necessarily even about like, well, like anti-government. It's anti-authority and anti-government. It's not about hurting people or breaking the rules. It's just about going against the grain and DIY, doing it yourself, not worrying about, you know, all that stuff, right? And I actually, this is going to sound wanky, like I think there are elements of what I do that are kind of like punk rock in ethos. Like I sit here in my apartment and I do this podcast. I'm not trying to get a big company to buy my podcast. I'm not trying to get sponsored. Well, I mean, I'm not object to it, but you know, this is all DIY. This is all just me in my apartment, my friends, like Harry Potter and the boys. It's Sam Garlep, my mate, Pat and Mike. Pat was just doing stuff for me, like as a fan, and then now he works for me, right? It's like, it's that kind of ethos. And the lyrics of this song, like the lyrics are, we're doing fine. We don't need to be told that we're doing fine because we won't give you control, and we don't need anything from you, and we'll be just fine, and we won't be bought and sold just like you, right? And there's heaps of other lyrics in the song that are like, what does it start with? It starts with, well, I won't be caught living in a dead-end job. I'll pray to the government, guns and guards. Now it's us against them. We're here to represent and spit right in the face of the establishment. Like, I mean, it is kind of corny when you put it like that, but in the song, it's so amazing. Their other song, Fat Lip, which I played earlier, also has these very, I guess, corny when said aloud, but it's just so great, like anti-authoritarian lyrics. The lyrics to that are, I don't want to waste my time, become another casualty of society. I'll never fall in line, become another victim of your conformity, back down. Like, I'm just so obsessed with them at the moment. And I am absolutely so stoked that I was able to go to this show and go to this live show and see them. It's reignited my love of live music. And if you have a favorite Sum 41 or Offspring song, let me know, and let me know why it means what it means to you. And of course, I've just played you 3 snippets of Sum 41 songs. Their discography is very extensive, and they have some fantastic songs across the years. Maybe go and listen to their greatest hits on Spotify or something, and then delve into some of the B-sides. But yeah, so obsessed. So, and I remember being a kid and I would just sit there and watch all their music videos on YouTube, and I would print out photos of them and stick them on my bedroom wall, and I would like know all their names, know all the lyrics. And I think looking back, it was like the start of me being obsessed with stuff, being like fanatical about pop culture. Like I wanted to know their names. I wanted to know the history of the band. I needed to know everything about them, because I just loved everything about them. And you know, when you're a little white boy from the suburbs of Melbourne, you know, if there's a band of 4, you know, punk Canadian white guys who are from the suburbs of Canada, of course you're going to fall in love with them. And that's why so many like white kids my age love Blink-182, love Green Day, love all these bands, because they just, you looked at them and you're like, I want to be that.